We acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we record this podcast.
Always was, always will be Aboriginal land.
Hey Green Beans! This week we are talking about e-waste. And since e-waste is the fastest growing waste stream right now, there is a lot to tackle. We are starting simple with an episode all about mobile phones. And just before we kick off onto that, hey Michaela, what brings you joy this week?
Well, I actually have one that is not my cat.
I am shocked.
Yes, I know, what the hell. So today I actually went and saw a friend that I haven't seen in probably like 4 years. As one of my friends from when I studied costume. And I was talking about her a couple months ago, and or maybe Jake was like, oh, whatever happened to, I can just say her name, whatever happened to Candace? And I was like, yeah, I know, it's just been really hard. Like, she lives on the other side of the city. So I just messaged her out of the blue and was like, hey girl.
Aww.
And she was like, oh yeah, let's catch up. So I went and saw her today. So that was really nice. And
that's so
very
lovely.
Cute. We got rained on, but it was fun.
Well, shout out to you, Candace. How awesome.
Yeah.
Yay.
What about you? What brings you joy?
What brings me joy? Clearly still not mobile phones, but we can touch
No,
onto that
I
in a
thought
minute.
you were going to say, yes, mobile phones bring me joy this week because I have one that works.
I mean, technically I do, but it is my boss's phone.
Oh.
What brings me joy is I'm learning to be more dynamic. I'm learning how to jump. And by that, I mean, like, I go bouldering a couple of times a week, and my style is very safe, very static, very much limbs, hands, like feet touching the wall at all times. And I've got to a point where that's not working anymore. Like, I need to actually try jumping and getting to things. And
scary.
They call it dynos. Like, that's the language that the kids use these days at the bouldering gym. So like when you do a dynamic movement, it's a dyno. So like I would say right now I'm doing like dynies, but I'm on my way. Like, I've never been as dynamic as I currently am right now. And so I'm really enjoying that I'm pushing myself there.
That's awesome. That's so funny you said that though, because I feel like the videos I've seen of you, I'm like, oh, it just looks so smooth and controlled. It's amazing. Because like I went with you that one time and I was like, this is going to be so much fun. And I was like, oh my God, I suck. Like, this is hard. So seeing you be so controlled and smooth is like, damn. And now you're like, oh, I'm going to jump as well. Like,
yeah, what? I think I do look way more graceful than a lot of people do. I don't know what it is. I've got some sort of poise to me, but I need to do some like yoga or something too, because I cannot balance to save my life. And so much of it is about just knowing your body. And like some people can literally within like the first day, because they've done heaps of yoga or gymnastics or like surfing, if they know how to balance, they immediately level up.
Magical.
Somehow I should not even be walking. Like, it's taken me so long to get this far with bouldering. Like, I should not be able to walk. I cannot balance. So that's a whole other thing I'll get into. But right now I'm focusing on dynos because somehow I think that's easier than balancing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it makes me very happy. And to immediately get sad, yes, my phone is just, I can't be bothered finding a new one, which is why I'm still using my
It's
my
hard,
bosses.
and you don't want to commit to something that is like not going to be right for you. I remember when I got my most recent phone, I was like, I don't know. Like, I got the Samsung Z Flip 3. I mean, I don't know if you're into phones, cool, but I got that because my previous Samsung was having lots of issues. So I was like, okay, I'm due for it.
Yeah.
And when I was looking online to buy it, I was looking at the Samsung website, just like getting reviews, feedback, or whatever. And Samsung actually have this thing. I feel like it's called Samsung Care or something, but it's basically a membership. When a new phone comes out, if you're part of this membership, you get a discount on it and you can trade your old phone in. And it's like frequently.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, why? I was a bit concerned, like when I was buying this phone, thinking, why are they advertising that? Is my phone going to last if I buy a new one? Or is it going to be like a year down the track? I'm going to have to get another one.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
There's actually a positive to them doing that. Like, there's the immediate positive of keeps you in the Samsung family and incentivizes getting the newest phone, like makes you feel not guilty. And of course you're getting a discount, so it's easier to get the new phone. But additionally, there is like a huge shortage in not just microchips. Like there's a huge shortage in microchips. Like you might have noticed how expensive the new phones are. Like it's hard to find a new phone, like 2022 phone for under $1,000. That's like a flagship bee's knees phone. And part of that is because there's a shortage in microchips. And so you just can't get them, so they're more expensive. But also the natural mineral, God, like me in science, I was not in the top grade. Is it called minerals? Like gold, copper, the things that are inside the phone.
I'm pretty sure copper is in phones.
Yeah, they are.
Copper's in everything.
It needs to be mined, and there's a shortage in that as well. And there are so many of us with gadgets in our drawers that are not recycling them or just binning them. None of it's being recycled. So with that sort of Samsung scheme, at least those parts are going back to somewhere and they can be reused. Like that's actually a big positive from it.
That's true. I'm not sure what they would do with the phones if they are then refurbished and sold through like a third party, because I don't think Samsung would sell refurbished phones, or if they are recycled. I'm not sure. But do you know what the percentage of the phone in terms of materials actually is recycled? Like, is it just like the battery and stuff, or can they do anything with the plastic, with the metal?
So the individual parts of a phone can pretty much all be recycled. They usually can't go back into another mobile phone. It's just that they'll be separated, and these factories are actually really, really cool looking. They'll like have everything out, like their little screwdrivers, and like take everything apart, separate it into the different types. And then depending on what it is, it might be melted into something else. It might be put into something else. Usually it doesn't go back into another mobile phone. If it's the second time something's been used, then it might be that it needs to go to landfill. But so many of these parts on their own can be used again, which is really cool.
That's good.
But if it's a fully working phone.
Never really thought about it.
Yeah. And fully working phones, if they're taken to these places, probably would get given to someone else who needs it. But depends, I suppose. I can't answer it as like blanket because I'm sure everyone does it differently.
Yeah.
E-waste, of course, is not just mobile phones, but we're gonna stay here for now because I feel like everyone has a mobile phone. Some of us might even have two.
What are you talking about?
I don't know what I mean. I'm going to say, before we jump the gun, can you briefly describe what e-waste is and give us a few examples?
E-waste is electronic waste. So it's any item with a plug, battery, or power cord that's no longer working or wanted. So this can be from phones, refrigerators, and even fluorescent light tubes. So it does cover quite a lot.
I never think of like my blender as potential e-waste, but
I know.
It's got a plug. That's what
and all of this stuff is actually banned from, in Victoria, is banned from going in your household rubbish bin, in your general waste bin.
Yeah, that was only like last year or something, I think.
Yeah, it was pretty recent.
Which to me probably makes me feel like not a lot of people will technically know about that.
No, I know of people in my personal life, I will not say names, but they will know who they are, who don't even rubbish properly. Like, they put general waste in their recycling bin and...
Oh no.
We've had many discussions and I have made him feel very guilty.
Oh.
And it's not Jake. Jake is very good. Yes.
Before we talk shit about Jake again.
I know, I'm sorry. I just thought I'd clarify because I was like, No.
That's worth doing. Oh, well done, Jake. 0 well dones to this other person.
Oh, I know. Disgraceful.
Good morning to everyone, except those people that are putting trash in the recycling bin.
Side tangent. I actually just found out the other day that they are introducing more bins.
Yeah.
So I know my dad has got the little food waste caddy in the house, which you put in special bags, but there's no actual bin yet. But I've just found out a couple days ago that even in my local council, they're going to bring out 4 bins.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I got a little leaflet about that. I don't know when.
Oh, you got a leaflet. I just happened to, I think I was talking to someone at work and then I was like Googling it and I was like, oh, so that's kind of exciting.
Yeah. So at least in Victoria, it's going to be rolled out, I think, all by 2030.
It might be in my council, I want to say 24.
Oh, that's still 2 years ago. Oh, kind of 1 year. We're kind of at the end of 22 now.
I mean, the bin, like, it's interesting. So they've got general waste, they've got recycling, but then they also have glass recycling. And I think they called it FOGO. FOGO or something like that. It was like food organics and garden organics.
Right, okay, so the food goes in with the garden stuff and there's just a whole bin for glass. Okay.
Yeah, we wouldn't really need the FOGO bin because we've got a worm farm.
Yeah.
But I also found out, again, I'm so sorry, tangent, when I was looking at the council website about all the different bins, my council actually offers up to $40 rebate to go towards the purchase of a compost bin, like so not like a caddy that goes inside, but like you could get a bokashi bin, you get a worm farm, you can get like any of those. So you can get actually a rebate from your government, well, at least in my area. And I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. I think our council does something similar. I think it's not a rebate, but if you go through their link to a website, it will give you like a reduced price on like certain bins, which is really cool. So I reckon if these phones aren't going in the bin, then a lot of them are probably hoarded at home. Yeah, I'm looking at you. Do you have a guilty drawer of electronics in your home?
I have a guilty shoebox and it's currently at my dad's house. I put everything in there because the plan was to recycle it all, but I hadn't done the research or knew where to do it.
Yeah.
I know I've heard of like mobile muster or like one of those, but I wasn't sure. And then when I was going through the box, I got distracted because it was like the old slide phone with the QWERTY keyboard or like a flip phone. So I think there's probably about 5 phones, 2 cameras. I'm pretty sure my PSP was in there.
Oh my gosh. That's a sizable shoebox you've got there.
Oh yeah, it was like a boot box.
Oh my gosh.
I'm pretty sure I had my iToy in there, but then the cable.
What's an
cable
iToy?
iToy? What do you mean? When PlayStation came out, it came out with iToy. It was basically a webcam, and you put it on your TV. And you play like interactive games. So there was like dance games.
Oh my gosh.
And you would see yourself on the screen with like stuff around you that you could interact with.
Wow.
It was so cool.
Wow.
If it worked, if it wasn't broken, I probably would like have plugged it in.
Oh, but brilliant. See, I had a PlayStation 2. I actually have a PlayStation 4 now, which I should sell or something because I don't use it. I really thought I would enjoy the Batman game. I just don't. But I had a PlayStation 2, a secondhand PlayStation 2 when I was a kid, and I must have got it years after they came out. I think I ended up having 2 of them because they both ended up with the same thing of like the sound just didn't work. And so iToys would have been wasted on me if it was like a dancing game because I had like Grand Theft Auto but with none of the sass.
Oh no, that's so sad.
I know. What are you even playing that game for? If not to be mildly offended.
So funny. I went to a friend's barbecue the other weekend and she was like, oh, we want to play this game. And we were playing like not fake, but like a version of Tetris on the Switch. And then she's like, I want to play this dance game. And we were all like, I don't want to play it. And she gets it up and she knows every song, all the moves, like absolutely killing it.
Nice.
And she's like, got all of us involved. And you just like download the app on your phone. I think it's Just Dance. And she's just like freaking hitting all the notes and every one of us had a go and we were all like puffing and, but it was so fun.
It is so fun.
Ooh.
Yeah, one of my friends has that too. I think I gained the system because I'm not a great dancer, but I make sure that hand is at least doing the right thing. And like, pro over here, pro dancer.
Exactly. But yeah, it's funny you said you had 2 PlayStation 2s because I've got my PS1 and my PS2 and I'm pretty sure we have a PS4 upstairs and Jake just sold his Switch, so.
He just sold his Switch, oh my gosh.
I know.
I love my Switch so much. All the consoles I have because, except for the PlayStation 4, sorry, PS4. Like I have a GameCube in England, which I adore, and I have a Wii so that I can play those GameCube games.
Wii was so much fun. Yeah.
I literally have like one Wii game that I like and the rest of everything I play on there is GameCube games because for some reason the disc thing still works. So I'm like, yep, great. I can keep on playing them. That's it.
Yeah. So good. So good.
I love it so much. So all my consoles I think I can keep using. But yeah, we did have a little stack of phones here until we found out where to recycle them. So at least I have some faith that your little boot box will go to somewhere good eventually.
Well, after this episode, next time at my dad's house, I will collect that boot box and I'm sure my dad I'm pretty sure he has like a hot pink Motorola Razr somewhere in the house as well.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure has got more phones. I'll be like, give me all your old phones and I'll take it all down.
I demand photographic evidence of this, and it needs to be posted on Green Girls.
Sure, I will take a photo, and I will be very embarrassed about it, but
Good,
that's
yes.
fine.
We're going to hold you accountable, everyone.
Yep.
At Green Girls Podcast, Instagram, hold this girl accountable. If you don't see this in a couple of weeks, go, hey, Michaela.
I will.
Where's your
I will. I
e-waste?
promise. I promise.
That's right. If nothing else, this is just peer pressure for us to do better.
Yeah. Well, I actually, because I found that iToy cable and it was so busted up,
Yeah.
I put it aside. And then Jake was clearing out his like office wardrobe, which is basically just like our junk cupboard. And he was putting all the stuff aside that he didn't want. And he had this bag of like cables and shit, like a mouse and keyboard and I think he kept the keyboard, but stuff like that. Miscellaneous chargers that you're like, I have no idea what this thing plugs into.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, put it all in this bag. And we filled up like a bag and I put it in my car. And it was in my car for probably 2 months. And then I finally drove past Officeworks and I go in and they have a big cardboard thing out the front that's like you can I think you might actually be able to recycle phones there. So I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot by saying, I don't know where to put my phones.
Look, you're giving away the end of the episode here, but...
Oh, I'm sorry, but I was just about to say how good I was because I went in there and recycled my cables.
Yay, good on you. Well done.
Yeah, sorry.
Grand.
Anyway,
well, everyone can forget that just happened.
Yeah, we'll revisit it later.
Nice, cool. We're going to get into some stats. We know that we love our stats around here. Well, I say stats. They are stats, but they're within quotes. I'm going to start off and then you're going to follow me. I'm giving you things to say. So I know I vaguely touched on this, but we have cosmosmagazine.com and they will talk about how mobile phones can be bad news for the environment. And they say with their valuable components of gold, copper, silver, oh my gosh, is that palladium? I can't.
Palladium. Ooh, that's a fun word.
Goody. First time I'm saying that out loud. And other materials, mobile phones ranked 4th amongst small electrical and electronic equipment, hoarded or unrecoverably discarded, that's put in drawers, cupboards, or garages rather than repaired, recycled, or sent to landfill for incineration. This next one, Michaela, you can go for, is from mobile-magazine.com.
Yes, so e-waste or electronic waste involves the discarding of anything with plugs, cords, or electronic components. So, since these products usually contain hazardous materials, they can release toxic chemicals into the atmosphere when they aren't disposed of correctly. This obviously isn't great for the environment, especially considering the escalating scale of our current global waste crisis.
I would not be surprised if that isn't why Victoria banned e-waste.
Yeah, well, like you think about it, like with some of the research that I was doing into it, with, you're like, oh, my one phone, whatever, it doesn't matter. But when they're all, like, think about how many people think that way. And then they're all in the one area and they're leaching out all this nasty stuff into the soil, into the, like, which gets into the water, which gets into the,
yeah.
It's scary.
Yeah, it's rotten. And in 2021, the Waste Electronic and Electrical Equipment, which is we, Forum reported an estimated 57.4 million tons. Have I got that right?
57.4 million tons, yeah.
Wow, yep, cool. Of e-waste globally, and that's heavier than the weight of the Great Wall of China. Clearly, the world is suffering from an ever-growing e-waste problem.
E-waste recycling is the reuse of electronic waste, meaning a second or even third life for electronic parts. Most parts of electronics can be recycled, from plastic or metal casing to batteries and circuit boards. In reality, under 20% of electrical items end up being properly recycled.
Yes, a recent survey... Yes, a recent survey by the Royal Society of Chemistry revealed that out of 51% of UK households with at least one unused electronic device, 82% had no plans to recycle them. Nearly a third explained this was because they didn't know how or where to recycle unwanted electronical items.
Royal Society of Chemistry. That sounds like a fancy thing.
It does sound fancy. I'm not sure they'd invite us to any galas, but I imagine they would have galas.
Yes, definitely. So 10% of e-waste actually comes from our mobile phones. So according to Statistica, that's a fun word too.
Nice.
6.64 billion people across the world own a smartphone. That's 83.72% of the current human population, which is a 34.32 increase since 2016.
God, that's a lot of numbers.
I know it is. I'm impressed that I just read that smoothly. So So if only 20% of these smartphones are recycled, many of the core materials used to produce them will run out in the next century. This will rapidly exacerbate the ongoing microchip shortage, which Chloe touched on before, which has affected both car and smartphone manufacturers in recent years.
Yes. Fast mobile phone development has led to a market dependency on rapid replacement of older devices. Mobile devices affect the environment in many ways over their lifetimes, but the impact can be reduced and spread over a longer period by applying circular economy principles, including production control, device reuse, remanufacture and recycling, and improved circular design involving component material selection, standardization, and modularization for easier disassembly. There were some big words, go me. That is from the Global E-Waste Monitor. And for anyone who tuned totally out of that, here is the too long didn't listen to version. If you care about getting the newest phone, you should recycle your old phone. If you don't want to pay over $1,000 because of a chip shortage, you should donate your old phone. If you like the green and blue dot that we happen to live on, you should recycle your old phone. But knowing you should recycle doesn't exactly help you recycle it. So here is how you can recycle your phone. And I know this is different for different countries. So this is Australia. And it's simply this. Hey, Australia, have you heard of Officeworks?
Oh, yeah.
And there are actually more places you can go to, but Officeworks is brilliant. They have this bring it back scheme. And yes, here is everything you can recycle. Computers and laptops, monitors, keyboards, printers, mice, hard drives, mobile phones and accessories, cables, chargers, DVDs and CDs, printer cartridges, batteries, and pens. And you can learn more about this over on Officeworks. They have a page called Positive Difference Plans. And so you can go and see that, read a bit more.
That's actually, I'm sorry I stole this before.
That's
and I ruined
okay.
it.
No, we told them to forget. They forgot.
Yeah, but I only knew about it because I'd gone into Officeworks to purchase something else. Like, I think I had to get stuff for trade school or like, I can't remember what it was. But I remember walking in, and in the front entryway, they had this big wall of cardboard, and each one had a different component, and each one said, you know, recycle something else here. Think of it as batteries and phones and miscellaneous cables. So I was like, oh, a mental note. And then when we were cleaning out all of the cupboards, I grabbed so many random chargers. I had no idea what they were for. And then when I went in there, they had a sign over it that said, we're not currently collecting. And I was like, oh, no. But I went to the counter and I was like, oh, I've got this stuff. And she's like, oh, yeah, sure, tip it out. And I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, great.
So, yeah, very good. The other one that I had was, which I mentioned before, was Mobile Muster. So I think they were probably one of the original ones who did it, and they're free. A not-for-profit mobile phone recycling program that accepts all brands and types, plus batteries, chargers, and accessories.
Brilliant.
So dropping items off is free, but obviously don't forget to remove any personal stuff you've on there. So factory reset your phone.
Yes.
Not that anyone's going to go through it, but just peace of mind, protect yourself, delete.
Very good point. Very good point. I feel like I looked at a whole page on that and thought, that's good, I'll include it, and then absolutely didn't.
Yeah. But so I got your back.
Yes. Get everything off. Get all of your personal things off, because for one, you want them, and for two, no one else needs them.
No, exactly.
So
and you don't want anyone randomly logging into your bank account from your phone from, 2010. Could you even do that in 2010? I don't even know.
Oh, it was a different world. Look, saw a post today. I'm a huge Legend of Zelda fan. So it was saying what we think of when we think of a game that's 20 years old, and it's like 8-bit.
And the hands that are like boop, boop,
yeah, and everything's like, it's just a bird's eye view of a little stick man walking around. And then it says like what it actually is 20 years ago, and it's a game that I love and would still play to this day, and is 3D and like everything. I'm like, oh my god.
Bless.
So am I old? Did the world just advance while I was asleep?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Look, I saw the funniest video. I think it was like probably 2 days ago. This guy, it's like from the point of view of a dad, and he runs into his daughter's room and he's like, we just got your phone bill. What the hell? How many messages did you send? And she's like lying in her bed kind of looking at him like, what do you mean? And he's like, how many texts did you send last month? She's like,
oh my god,
a lot. Why? He's like, did you use all my minutes as well? Like, if you used all my minutes, I'm going to be so mad. And she's like, minutes? What are you talking talking about?
Oh,
And I was
no.
like, oh my goodness, that's an entire thing I completely forgot about. Like,
Yeah.
you accidentally called a mobile from your landline or something, and you're dreading when the phone bill comes in case your parents are going to be like, mm-mm.
Oh my
Or
gosh.
yeah, you run out of all your minutes, or you send, you sent 50 texts,
Yeah.
and that's your limit.
I forgot that's how it used to work. My
I
goodness.
know. Me too. The kids these days
Yeah, they don't know
just
how
don't know
good they
how it
have
used to
it.
be.
Like,
Not only that, how we had to type
oh
with
no.
the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, what was it called?
Yeah, all of that like text talk stuff, like lol, soz.
Yeah.
I forgot that it was actually because it was, for one, hard to text, and for two, like it was, well, for me, 10p per text, and you could only fit like
so you
30
were like 2
characters
letters.
in each text. I'm like, I'm gonna say this
Or, like,
with no vowels, none.
Exactly. Sending a multimedia message? Mm-mm.
Oh, forget about it.
Can't
Forget
afford
about
it.
I want to eat this month.
So crazy.
But here we are. Yeah, this is where tech is now, and
Mm-hmm.
somehow I'm gonna have to decide what phone to get, and
Yeah.
without a doubt it's gonna have to be secondhand, which I'm very happy with. But there's a
Yeah.
whole phones aren't made with SD slots anymore. I didn't know that.
No.
But
I know.
that's like a requirement for me. The only phones I know of that are really good and still include them are the Sony phones, like the newest Sony phones. And I heard that they don't sell them in Australia.
Oh.
So I'm screwed.
Right.
Yeah, honestly,
That
it might
sucks.
be that I have to just use the internal storage of the phone and then do it. But from a privacy standpoint, I know that there are like more and more things where people's everything is just being stolen, and the fact that if you're with someone like Apple or Google, I'm not sure, I am talking out of my ass, but I'm pretty sure like if it's on your phone or you use like Google Drive, they like technically own it.
What? I didn't know that.
Stuff like that, and like there have been leaks.
Meanwhile, I used to use Google Drive for like everything, and I have Dropbox from like back when I was in high school that has like really old photos and stuff, but I recently just got OneDrive because that's Microsoft, which syncs with my Samsung phone.
Oh yeah.
And now I'm like, because I set up photo backup because I was worried, like I didn't want, in case I did something stupid to my phone or like I lost all my photos, like. So I set that up as peace of mind. And now I'm like, I mean, it's all, if you hack into my OneDrive, literally it's cat photos.
Oh, literally, yeah.
That's cat photos
that's the part of me that's like, well, privacy wise, I really don't have much to worry about. It is like pictures of Switch games and like things I saw in the park and ducks and cats and probably a lot of selfies. Hello. And so there's not much that I think is like valuable data, but it's still weird.
Still a bit spooky.
It's a bit.
In this day and age, I feel like, everything about us is on the internet. It's kind of scary.
Yeah, it's a bit icky. And there's a whole theme I'd love to go into with you another time about what we pay for convenience and like what we'll do for convenience and the sort of sacrifices we'll make or not even realize we're making for the sake of convenience. So like, we can tangent about that for a whole episode another time.
Sure.
But it's like, well, I have to somehow get a phone that's not available in Australia to get a decent phone that has an SD storage to align with my value here of trying not to give unnecessary information to a company that might misuse it.
Yeah, and
it's so
secondhand.
How? And secondhand.
Far out.
Like to find all these things, to jump through these hoops, because there isn't a great deal of pressure on electrical companies to like do what we would say is the right thing.
No.
And if they did, it might be insanely expensive. And so there's just a whole balancing scale of things that is like too big for my brain to comprehend.
Yeah, too much.
And it's that sort of overwhelm that I think can scare people away from ethical lifestyle. But as we say at the end of these episodes, it doesn't matter if you take it slow. It matters that you take a step.
Yeah,
we get the overwhelm as well.
Yeah, that's definitely what's made it much easier for me.
Yeah,
because you can't be perfect, and sometimes you need a phone. Sometimes it's just those things, or you might need a specific product for something like health reasons, or I know that I have medication that's not vegan necessarily, but it's something that I need.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, you do just have to make those sacrifices and do what you can.
Yeah, true. Especially when your health comes into it. It's that.
Yeah.
That's
like my absolute favorite thing about this is that we say that.
Right before we end, I have a teeny tiny bit of extra help for my Victorians out there, my Melburnians. Small e-waste items, which basically is items that can fit into a household bin, which it says here is a 240 litre bin. Didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
But they are accepted in the following locations, and they are the Library at the Dock, which is in Victoria Harbour Promenade, the Kensington Town Hall, which is Belair Street in Kensington, and the Kathleen Sim Library and Community Centre, which is Faraday Street in Carlton. So if you're listening now, lovely listeners, and that's near you, zero excuses. Heard it from me.
Yes.
Pressure.
I also have one thing, because I did so much random Googling on my council the other day. Apparently, yes, it's not allowed in bins, but in hard rubbish, you can put a box out and label it e-waste and put e-waste things in there. So if you've got any cables or anything, have a look at your local council website. It might differ. This is for Yarra Ranges, Yarra Valley. I don't know what it is. But that's also something that you can look into. If you can't make it to any of those particular locations, definitely check your council website, and they'll have on there too if there's anything in your area that you could go to. So
awesome. That's
as options.
Yeah, that's great to know. If anyone's like in a rush, like moving home or something, and just cannot get to Officeworks or somewhere, still going to be better to put it out with your hard rubbish in a box than putting it
clearly
into landfill.
Labeled e-waste. Yep.
Awesome. I feel like we've actually been productive and given people some good things to do.
I think so too. Don't we do that every time though? If not,
maybe.
Good information, just lots of joy and some giggles at our expense.
Definitely.
Thank you, Chloe, for all of your lovely research with this episode. I'm sorry I was not as prepared as you.
You're beautiful, and you did so much research about other things.
Thank you. Next time. Guys, hang out for an episode on other e-waste stuff. We've got plenty of things. But if you have any other suggestions on episodes or something you want to find out about as well, feel free to contact us. Instagram, message, email, whatever you want. But anywho, thanks everyone so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's show, we would love it if you could leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or a star rating on Spotify. Chloe's distracting me. You can follow the podcast on Instagram at greengirls.podcast. You can follow Chloe on Instagram at BeKindCoco. And you can follow me on Instagram at Michaela Hoffman and at RetroKittyVintage. If you want to email us, just doing that. Is that the Macarena?
Yeah.
So good. I could just see like the corner of my eye. I'm like,
oh my gosh.
Okay, sorry, back on track.
I had to rotate.
Yeah, it was very good. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
If you would like to email us for any reason, you can do this via greengirlspodcast@gmail.com. And we also have a Patreon, but you can look us up there on Green Girls Podcasts and find us. That is all, folks. Look out for new episodes every other Wednesday, because on Wednesdays we podcast. We hope you enjoyed listening to our ramblings today, and until next time, remember my favorite thing: it doesn't matter if you take it slow, it matters that you take a step. Goodbye.
Goodbye.